I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream will start very soon. So please stay tuned. Hello, everybody. This is Paul. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to what is another video. Before I start, can I just say thank you very much to everybody for supporting the channel who is. Thank you very much for watching the videos, etc., etc. That all means so much. It helps the channel. Well, the channel will always be there anyway because the videos are needed for other things, but it's always good to help other people, hopefully give other people some horses as well. Speaking of which, on the website, repcic racing 2020.great/site.net, you can find plenty of National Hunter horses still going around on there, probably of the older variety though. Some very nice horses on there though, but for today, we're going to take a look at another National Hunt prospect. And that horse is the Willie Mullins trained gelding, sired by Jukebox Jury, Argento Boy, out of a dam called Backaway, sired by Bob Back, bred by Victor Connolly and owned by Mrs. Audrey Turley, who is arguably better known as the owner of the current Gold Cup favourite and last year's winner, Galopin de Champs. People see that this horse only had one run towards the end of January, where it won by 7 lengths up at Fairy House in Ireland in a 2-mile National Hunt flat race, running it to a mark of 115. I mean, I do like this horse. This horse is from a dam line that has done me well in the past. We couldn't find Argento Boy on the site that we normally use to see what dam lines they are, but we did find the dam of Argento Boy, Backaway. You'll see there that she and all the other horses out of her and on this line are family 1W. Backaway has herself foaled in 2002 and she is unraced. One of the reasons why I do like this horse is it's related to a couple of horses I've actually followed myself over the years that ran in the same colours and were very successful. For me, the first one was also trained by Willie Mullins, Briar Hill, winner of 6 of his 15 races, and in the first 2 in 8 out of his 15, people see that this was a solid horse, arguably at its best in bumpers, where it ran to a mark of 141, which was in fact higher than its best chase mark. It won the Cheltenham bumper of 2013, Briar Hill, by a storming 7 lengths. And then in 2014, it won a 2-runner Grade 1 race in December 13, the Navan Novice Hurdle. Won a Grade 2 back at Naas in January 2014. Grade 2 Slaney Novice Hurdle, where it beat only 3 runners. It then fell at Cheltenham when 2-1 favourite for the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, where it fell in the race won by Very Wood. For very manipulated campaign there. Not many horses wanted to take it on. It then went hurdling for the last year, ran to a mark of 152 when falling behind Deddy Goot in the 2015 race at Navan, the Boyne Hurdle. Then went chasing in 2016, won a chase at Killarney and was second in a Grade 3 at Navan in 2016, the Clare and Davis Novices Chase, before really falling away somewhat towards the end of his career. A very good Cheltenham bumper winner there, and you have to say the horse is a Grade 1 and Grade 2 winning novice hurdler as well. A funny old career that horse had, didn't it? Jazzaway is another one. Jazzaway unfortunately died age 6, also trained by Willie Mullins, sired by Shantu. This one is also out of Backaway, the dam. 146 rated hurdler. Didn't really show a lot in bumpers. Hurdles, it was a very good horse. It was very progressive, winning 2 handicap hurdles at Grade B level at Punchestown in April, the Killer She Hotel handicap hurdle, and then in July it won the Guinness handicap hurdle at the Galway Festival, where it ran to its best hurdle mark of 146. It It then was seen again in September 2021 back at Galway, where the horse suddenly died. Pulled up behind Mackilgony, where it looked to have gone wrong, suddenly died, aged 6 years old. So no one really got to see, I don't think, how good this horse was. Never jumped a fence, never won, never ran in a graded race. Very progressive handicap hurdler in 2021. We'll take a look at a couple more dams now. We'll probably take a look at them four, you see. There's not really a lot to gain from them because this is really a flat racing site. I will always maintain that. Bavaway, the second dam, foaled in 1987, sired by La Bavard out of Chilaway, also down as unraced. The third dammer, South Chilaway, was foaled 52 years ago. We'll probably stop here, actually. Sired by Arctic Slave and Asmodam, who was foaled in 1961, called Freeze Away. The fifth dam foaled in 1947. And in fact, if people go back even towards the end of the 18th century, which is where I had to go to try and find some flat horses that were out of this pedigree, the 10th dam of the horse foaled in 1872 is actually Spinaway. Spinaway is a good horse. No record of it here, but people will see that the truth is there. She won the UK 1000 Guineas and the UK Oaks in 1875, long time ago. We looked at 1W. We had no trouble finding Spinaway in 1872. But the ninth dam of the horse, we fell off the line. Yeah, the ninth dam of the horse was in fact Wagaway or one of them, but there was no sign of it at all on the line at Walsh, the ninth dam. He was not there. So while that line of Spinaway went off and did breed some nice horses in the 20s and 30s in Argentina and that, we're not on it. So it was hard for me to find some flat horses really, quite closely related to ours. Spinaway is about the closest I could find. That was in the turn of the century. There are other horses nearer related to it though. Boston Bob is another one that I did follow. That also used to be trained by Andrea and Graham Wiley, sired by Bob Back out of Bavaway. I think Bavaway is the third dam of this horse, I think. If I clicked on the right arrow, wouldn't it? There's Bavaway, yeah, the third dam of the horse. That was the first one we could find on here, of course, was the dam. Boston Bob was interesting. One out of 10 of his 25 races. Also owned by Andrea and Graham Wiley. This horse was a good horse. It was a good, solid horse. Again, didn't do a lot in National Hunt flat racing in probably the last days of Howard Johnson having horses with Graham Wiley. They went to Ireland after that, and the second start, you see, in Ireland, Boston Bob won the 2011 Novice Hurdle. He also won another Grade 2 at Leopardstown, the Synergy Security Solutions Hurdle. He went to his best hurdle mark of 156. It was runner-up at the Cheltenham Festival. I remember that race behind Brindisi Breeze. It was fairly beaten on the day. We had a good race, though. That was in the Albert Bartlett. And then in 2012, he embarked on a chase campaign, winning the Grade 1 chase, the PJ Moriarty Novices Chase at the Dublin Racing Festival, won into a mark of 151. He then fell at Cheltenham in the year Lord Windermere won the race, the RSA, it was them days, wasn't it? Yeah, the RSA chase. Boston Bob was actually in the lead and fell at the last. That day, I remember that race very well. Indeed. It also fell at Punchestown in April, behind Mount Ben Ruben at the third. And that was it. And then it really had to go back then. It had a hurdle race to build its confidence back up. And then it had a good end to 2014 winning at Aintree in the Melling Chase. And it also won the Punchestown Gold Cup, running to marks of 163 and 165. Tailed off a bit in the season after that. Still a solid, but rather than spectacular compare. And it did win the 2016 race at Fairyhouse, the Bobby Joe Chase, when it beat On His Own, a stablemate. I remember that day as well. Run into a poor mark, really, of 151 On His Own. Ran a poor race that day, I remember it. And Boston Bob, a very solid horse, you see there, 156 rated hurdler and 165 rated chaser. I mean, if Argento Bob can improve to be as good as some of these, then we're going to be in good shape. We're only at 115 at the minute. You know, we've seen graded novice hurdle winners, graded chase winners, bumper winners. You know, this horse could cover a few bases. There's a couple of others, not too many. Danny Harold, that was out of Chillaway, out of the third dam of this horse, I think, or maybe even the fourth. And the third dam foaled in 1972. Danny Harold is also out of that horse. Born in 1984, trained by Andy Tennell. Side by Deep Run, a good horse, 160 rated hurdle. It was runner-up in the Supreme Novices Hurdle of 1990. Behind Forest Sun. You can't knock that form, can you? It was also second in the Grade 2 race at Wincanton in February. The Kingwell Hurdle, which has moved. No, it hasn't. And then missed a year. Second again in Wincanton after that. And also 2 lengths behind Morley Street in the 1991 Berkshire Hurdle. It ran to a mark of 155, which you probably know. Its best mark of 160 was gained when it beat the Demon Barber in a handicap hurdle in 1991 at Chepstow on Welsh National Day. I remember that race. But that's not really a race worth winning in my book. It's also a Grade 2 winning novice chaser, where it only got a mark of 130, despite beating Jadami by 15 lengths. I mean, I don't know what Jadami ended up being rated, but that's a ridiculous rating. 1992 race there, the Reynolds Novices Chase. Suddenly died, it did, in that race in 1993, the Great Yorkshire Chase, where it's pulled up behind Young Hustler. Also second behind Deep Sensation in what is now the Amlin 1965 Chase at Ascot. Very good horse. Third behind Minahoma there, looking a £3 novice chase. Minahoma went on to win a Grand National, and they rated that performance 116. Absolutely. I don't know. These things are what they are. But I suppose people will have to say it was a better hurdler than a chaser. Very interesting horse, though. Another couple we found knocking about, just slightly off this one. Roma Way herself is related. She's out of one of the dams that we've looked at. We found this horse here, 132 rated horse, Glaze Away. Trained by Michael O'Connor, another one I don't think people saw the best out of. It won over half of its races, 4 out of 8 races, including a couple of Grade 3s. It won a Grade 3 at Cork in 1998, the Stayers Novice Hurdle, and it also won a Grade 3 at Naas in 1999, another horse to win the Slaney Novice Hurdle on this line, running to a mark of 132, 5th behind Alexander Banquet, and it was pulled up behind Barton in the 1999 Sun Alliance Novices Hurdle, when not really fancied for the race, in fairness to it. But there's an interesting horse nonetheless, a dual Grade 3 winner. And another one I found was Sparky Gale. I'm sure those that have watched Grand Nationals in the past will remember this one. I didn't realise it was as average as it was when I looked at the form of it, though. It didn't really win many good races, the lad. 15th it was in the 1995 Sun Alliance Hurdle. Its best hurdle mark was 139, which it gained when second behind Turnpole in an £11,000 race. It just didn't really win many, the lad. Novice chasing, it went straight through the novice ranks, a bit like One Man did. Of course, we looked at the other day. It did win a £33,000 race in 1997 at the Cheltenham Festival, the Cathcart Challenge Cup, where it got its best chase mark of 155. It did win a Grade 2 novice chase in 1997, won the Future Champions novice chase, beating Mac George, running to a mark of 147. It's placed again at Cheltenham in the 1998 Cheltenham Festival behind Super Coin. It's running Grand Nationals. It ran later on in its career. Definitely Grand Nationals and Hunter Chases. Yeah, I remember it running behind Earth Mover. But again, they're quite low-rated races there that it's been running in. I'm sure it did run in a Grand National. There it did. Papillon's Grand National, where it was pulled up in the year 2000. 155 rating at best if Argento Boy gets to that. And the way the pattern is these days, I don't think he'll be running in £11,000 handicap chases. Because a good horse in his own right, Sparky Gale. Although I was surprised he didn't win as many better races than what he did. So Argento Boy, fascinating prospect I do think at this stage. Before we end the video, we'll watch the horse win at the end of January in at Fairyhouse, I think. And then we will get on with our lives.
White flag up, and where they go. Over 2 miles in the SPK bumper, heading for the stands the first time. It is Seskin Flash, the leader from the grey Argento Boy, who's followed by Coral River in the checks. He's gorgeous. And then Born Braver. Now, what do you think is next? And then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, Shraheen. Coming past the winning post the first occasion, the leader is Seskin Flash, Adam Ryan by 3 lengths to Argento Boy, Jody Townend in second place, and third, Coral River, Charlie Mullins. He's gorgeous next. On the inside is Born Braver, and then now, what do you think? Lieber Nick and the Journeyman with the final couple, Dairy Force and Shraheen. Reaching their final mile and 5. Seskin Flash, the leader, from Argento Boy, the favourite, in the quartered colours, and third is Coral River, and then Born Braver. He's gorgeous. Now, what do you think is next? And then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shraheen. Little or no changes, 1.5 miles to go from here. Seskin Flash, keeping close to the inside, leads on the ascent to the top of the track. Argento Boy and Coral River, then he's gorgeous. And Born Braver, and now what do you think next? Followed by Lieber Nick, about to swing a right at the highest point of the course, and it's Seskin Flash making the bend, a few lengths in front of Argento Boy, and then Coral River. He's gorgeous next, and then Born Braver. Now what do you think? Lieber Nick next on the inside, followed by the Journeyman. Dairy Force last but 1, and Shraheen remains the back marker by a couple of lengths. 9 furlongs to go. Seskin Flash, not so far in front, has come right back to Argento Boy, who's now within half a length to 3 parts, a break of a length to Coral River, just third from Born Braver, and he's gorgeous. And then now what do you think? And Lieber Nick with the final 3, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shraheen. They're past the halfway stage. Seskin Flash by a neck to Argento Boy. Less than 2 lengths back to Coral River, just edging the third from He's Gorgeous, and then Born Braver. Now what do you think next? Then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shraheen. Inside the final 7 furlongs, and Argento Boy just pokes to the front from Seskin Flash. Close up in third is Coral River, and then Born Braver. He's Gorgeous is next, and then now what do you think? Who's racing on to the heels of the leaders with 6 to run, and then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shraheen. 5.5 furlongs out in the SPK bumper. Argento Boy leads past the 5 from Born Braver, who's making headway. Seskin Flash has dropped back on the inside, and then Coral River. Now what do you think is close up on the outside? He's Gorgeous is pushed along, followed then by Lieber Nick inside the final half mile. Heading for the turn into the straight, and it's Argento Boy from Born Braver, Seskin Flash. Now what do you think on the outside of Coral River, who's now ridden along, then Lieber Nick, who's made some ground. Shraheen from last, and then Dairy Force. Turning in for the final 2.5 furlongs, Argento Boy from now what do you think on the outside? being followed then on straightening up Borden Braver. Liebernick is next, and then Coral River and Straheen. Racing to the final 2 furlongs, Argento Boy from Now What Do You Think on the outside, followed then by Liebernick and Borden Braver, racing to the final furlong and a half. And it's Argento Boy, the leader, and is now starting to fire up the engine from Borden Braver. Now What Do You Think? And Liebernick is next, well clear of Coral River. Racing inside the final 200 yards, it's Argento Boy out clear. In second place is Borden Braver and then Liebernick, followed then by Now What Do You Think? And at the finish, it's Argento Boy. A super afternoon for William Mullins. Second is Borden Braver, Liebernick third.
Yeah. I mean, that has to go down with me as a fairly routine bumper win. He's positioned well through the early stages of the race, and then gradually realised that the front runner weren't going as fast enough as he'd have liked. Eased him to the front, slowly but surely increased the pace, kicked him clear, and I thought he won well. I think it's definitely, if we've looked at the pedigree of some of these, have stayed a lot further than 2 miles. So I do think this horse will probably stay further than that. But we've had ones that we've looked at have been placed in Supreme Novices hurdles. We've had ones that have won Cheltenham bumpers. So we'd best get this horse on now, I think. So I'm gonna chance this horse. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the face if it turned out to be any good, and I hadn't, because it's been related to a couple of ex Graham Wiley horses that I followed before. So let's hope that this one can do the business. Will it or not? Time will tell. But for now, I'm going to leave this video here. What I will do is I will include a copy of all the National Hunt horses on a playlist at the end of the video as a steer for you all, so you can look at all the horses, and it will even be the right playlist this time, not just the review playlist, which I've been including by accident in the last 4 or 5 videos. And I will also leave everybody an opportunity to subscribe, those that have chosen to watch this video, and they've also chosen not to subscribe, which is fine with me. But you can subscribe if you want. I'll give you an option to do that so you don't miss any. But for now, I'm going to knock this video on the head now. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Argento Bob, I'm sure you'll agree, an interesting horse moving forward for connections off the current Gold Cup winner. But for now, take care, everybody, and look after yourselves. Goodbye.